Hello, it's Laura Reines again, and I am actually making a second video on the same day because I did not want to forget to talk to you all about beauty and self-esteem. So that will be the topic of my time with you today. In a previous video, you heard me talk about hair and how that can be a major self-esteem issue or the root of self-esteem questions or self-identity issues for children of color. And again, I want to preface this by saying that what I'm sharing with you is my take on things from my own personal experiences. I am in no way trying to insinuate that your child will have identical experiences, as I did. One of the things is I was adopted in the early 1970s, and we're now in 2011. And I do have to say that things have come, a long way. So the experiences might be quite different. However, I do feel that by sharing what's happened to me, parents can be kind of on guard or be watchful for signs or symptoms of similar things happening with their children. So beauty. It's hard for me to talk about beauty because that's something that I still struggle with today. I still struggle with feeling attractive and beautiful because although I've grown and matured, I'm still living in an area where I am in the minority. I remember being 6 years old and in kindergarten and somebody saying that I had black skin. And honestly, until that time, I'm not sure that I really gave that matter a lot of thought. I mean, I knew that I was different. I knew that I was adopted. I didn't look anything like my family, so I knew that. But that was the first time I remember really feeling different because of my skin. As I grew up, I remember my skin was extremely dry, and like I said, I live in Minnesota, so our winters here are pretty harsh, pretty cold, pretty dry. And I remember my skin got ashy. And if you don't know what that means, that's extremely dry skin that you can actually take your fingernail and scratch in the skin and see like a white line or a white mark where you scratched. And that would happen when I would scratch myself if I had an itch, or I could write my name on my leg or on my arm. And I remember people kind of commenting on that too. That's weird. And with kids, if they don't understand something or if it's new to them right away, it's weird. And so I grew up feeling like I'm weird. Somehow there's something about me that just isn't quite right. As I got older, I remember being in 6th grade and starting to get really curious about cosmetics and makeup. And of course, there was no makeup in my shade. There absolutely was no makeup in my shade. So in terms of wearing like mascara and eyeshadow and those kinds of things, definitely I could shop with the best of them. But when you looked at foundation or cover up or that kind of thing, absolutely not. I had an experience at my own slumber party where we were going to give makeovers, and everyone was going to make over, let's say, the person to their right. So we're sitting in a circle, and we all had brought our makeup because we didn't know that you're not supposed to share makeup, and we were giving each other these makeovers. Well, I remember this foundation came out, and it wasn't even the color of a Caucasian person's skin, I don't think. It was kind of orange. And the person who was going to make me over took that out, and I remember saying, yeah, you can't use it on my skin. It's just not going to look right. It's too light. But they insisted, and so I sat there and let them put that foundation on my skin. And I remember I looked horrible. And I remember saying that I was going to go to the bathroom and look in the mirror. And what I did is I went into my parents' closet and I cried. And I just remember, man, I am so different. Why can't I even wear makeup like my friends? This was just another one of those things that separated me from my friends. When I was a sophomore in high school, I remember going to a larger community about an hour from where I was raised, and we were in a discount store, and lo and behold, there was dark enough powder in a compact. And I was so excited. I remember that I couldn't try it on in the store, but I kind of held it up to my face like this, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is something that I can actually wear. So I bought that, and I remember finally feeling like, okay, all right, I'm kind of fitting in. My friends have their foundation, I have mine. It still made me feel a little bit different because it was so much darker than everybody else's, but I kind of felt like I fit in again just a little bit. Another story, I was in theater a lot of theater productions, and I remember that they did not have stage makeup in my shade. Didn't have it. It wasn't in the makeup case in our high school theater department. And one of my directors went ahead about the time I was a sophomore and ordered some foundation in my shade. Actually, it was not in my shade, but it was the only shade of dark that they made. In all actuality, it was quite a bit darker than my actual skin tone. But she pulled it out and she's like, look what I have for you. So I had to wear this stage makeup. And for those of you who don't know, when you're in a theater production and you're wearing stage makeup, you have to wear it all over your body in terms of the places that might be revealed. So that might be your ears, kind of in your ears, your nose, your neck. If you had short sleeves in the play, you had to wear it on your arms. And so I remember I was like two different colors because this foundation did not match, but that was the only foundation color that you could get. It was called dark. So that was another thing. I'm different. Is there only one shade of tan? And I didn't even match that shade. So that was again a moment where it just stood out. Laura, you are so different from everybody else. Growing up, I don't remember feeling attractive. I don't remember looking at a picture and saying, oh, I love that picture of myself. Our newspaper would take pictures, and I was often in the newspaper because, as I said in a previous video, I was involved in almost every activity under the sun, and that would land my picture in the paper on numerous occasions. Well, apparently there wasn't much knowledge of lighting and how you photograph a person of color because it was always just my eyes that showed and my teeth if I was smiling. And so I got to know myself as that person who never really shows up in the paper, but you know it's her because her name is underneath her picture. Again, not the easiest of situations. And these are things that my friends just could take for granted. They could take for granted going to the store and buying some cosmetics. They could take for granted foundation coming in numerous shades of light or of beige. They could take for granted that when the newspaper took a picture, you'd at least be able to see their whole face. Things I got used to, and had to tell myself that it wasn't that bad, because if I was to tell myself, how I really felt, it would have been really tough for me to stay and to continue growing up and living where I did. But parents, what I would say for your children is tell them that they're beautiful, and tell them they're beautiful not only based on their looks. You can compliment their intelligence. You can compliment how well they draw a picture. You can say that they have a beautiful spirit. But also, it's okay to let them know, I love your tan skin. My mom always said, I am so jealous of your beautiful eyes. And that kind of comment went a long way with me. So I will wrap this video up. Hopefully I've given you something to think about. If you have questions though, please feel free to comment or to contact me. I'd be happy to answer questions or to work with you if you are considering adopting a child of color. Have a wonderful day.